How you doing? Today I wanted to, this is Gary Cody. I wanted to share with you one of VEX's new platforms that they came up with over the spring here. And basically, so students who didn't have access to equipment at home, they could actually do some robotics programming. And it's pretty neat package, VEX VR, virtual reality, they call it there. So that's what I want to talk about here today. So let me, first of all, I want to pull up the VEX website here. So let me get that up here. And what I need to do is get my And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to type in just VEX robotics, and then you don't have to memorize a URL to go to. So we'll go to their VEX Robotics website here. It's vexrobotics.com. And I'm going to get rid of this. And where I want to go is, first of all, if you take a look right over here, VEX Code VR. It's right on the upper right-hand corner of their website. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that, and we will take a look at their VEX code here that they have. And what happens is when you first fire this up, it comes up in block mode or scratch programming mode. And most of the time what happens is this is something that the elementary school children get exposed to, is this block coding. When they get to high school, they're more into the C programming, or if you're actually doing VEX robotics, it's robot C. But they also have a version of Python, and that's what I'm going to show you today, is the Python code that you can program this in. But anyway, they start out by showing you that. Let's take a look at the robot. This is the robot. This is a pre-made robot for you already. It's got sensors on it. It's got motors on it. It's got a pen on it. It's got a lot of neat tools on it. So this thing is web-based. No software is required. Actually, what it should be, it should say cloud-based, because you don't have to load any software into computer. It's compatible with your tablets, and I believe it's even compatible with your Chromebooks too. So I don't have a Chromebook to try it out, but here's the robot. Robot has two bumpers in the front, a left bumper and a right bumper. It has a front eye that can tell you what color it sees. Well, there's just four. I think there's just four colors that it can see, actually five. It has a distance sensor in the front. It has an electromagnet on it. It has a downward looking eye on it. It's got a built-in gyro and location sensing, and it has a pen that you can activate on it. So a lot of cool tools for you to program with. They have these virtual playing fields, and I'm going to show you one of them. Matter of fact, I might go through all of them here just to show you the different playing fields that they've got, but I'm going to use one. It's a maze. And they have challenges, already pre-programmed challenges in there for the teachers, and they have different levels, level 1, level 2, level 3 for you on these games that they have set up already that the students have to program. The actual robot has a sensor. You know, we're talking about the sensors. Well, up above here, they've got the distance sensor. They've got your left and right bumper. They got the location angle of the robot. They've got its location on the playing field, the XY locations. They have the down eye. They tell you whether it sees a color or not, and whether it sees any object. They have a front eye that does the same. They keep track of rotation, how many times the robot rotates from original actual zero heading. And they actually have a heading value on there that you can read and check. Um, I'm going to show you some more. There's some more capabilities that I can't show. I don't think these work here. No, I'll show you that when I fire up the program here. So let's go back. I'm going to go back to the main VEX Robotics website. And what I'm interested in is their support page here. And we're going to go down to downloads, and we're going to go to software. And right here, if you're looking for other VEX code, they've got all the other VEX code here that you want to load. So it's all free. It's on that VEX Robotics website. What I'm going to do is I'm going to launch this right here, the VEX Code VR. And they start up. They actually got a tutorial that you can run and play. I'm not going to do that. Like I said, it comes up in block mode. And what I'm going to do is they also have tutorials on here, so you can get tutorials that you can load up with software already pre-programmed. So that's nice. They do a nice job on that. I'm going to go up here to Files, and I'm going to say new. If you want to program in blocks, you'd say a new blocks project, but we're going to do text project. The text project is actually Python programming language. And from what I understand from my research here and reading articles on the AP computer science courses that are offered in the high school, there's going to be an AP computer science principles course, which is not the fundamentals. It's going to be the principles course. It's going to be offered this year, and it's going to be in Python. The language you're going to use is Python. So if you're a tech ed teacher, you might want to check with your computer science teacher, find out if they're teaching the principles, and maybe you guys can hook up on some lessons, you know. And if you're not into Python, I've never programmed Python before I did this little project, and it's pretty easy. I mean, it's pretty much like C++. So it was pretty easy to get used to. When you load this up, it actually gives you the basis for the program, and what you end up doing is you end up putting your code right here where line number 16 is. You start entering your code in there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna load some of my code that I have already, and let's see, load from my device. And this is a program that I've written already for Maze. And if you take a look at it, sure enough, here we got if statements, we got while statements. If you look at the end, if you're familiar with C, they always finish the lines out with semicolons. Well, they put in, and I guess these are just colons. These are colons that they're using here. So there's a little bit of difference between the two languages. I had to write a couple of functions here, and that's what's up front here, are functions that I wrote. And I'm not going to get into this here. I have a whole 30-minute video on how this program was put together and created and demonstrating it. So if you're interested in that, I can make that available to you. But I had to look at how to build a function. And I just went online, Googled Python function, and sure enough, there we go. Gave me all the information I need to know about putting a Python function. All right, so next, I'm gonna move my picture down here a little bit. Let's take a look at the playgrounds that are available. And this one comes up with the game. It's this one here already, but what I want to do is maybe I'll show this, make this a little bigger. I wanted to show what games they have available here. And I haven't played with any of these other games, but they seem pretty neat. You know, they have the XY coordinates here for this, and here's your robot right down here, lower left-hand corner. If you want to see it like a maze, you go over here to this camera in the lower right-hand corner, you click on it, there's your robot. There's what the playing field would look like if you weren't looking straight down on top of it. So you can swap back and forth between those two modes. So that's that grid map. And they got a numbered grid map. And they have lessons that go along with this too, that at different levels. So you can see what they ask you to do already, things for the kids to do. Art canvas, where they can draw on that with the pen. Disc maze. And I'm assuming with this disc maze is you pick it up with the magnet that's on the robot. Here's the one I use, the wall maze. Every time you load it up, it's the same maze there. I'll come back and talk about that a little bit. And we have the dynamic wall maze. Now this is an interesting one. This is a real challenge. Every time you load this maze up or you restart it, it's got a different maze on here. So you have to write a program that's kind of like an AI type program. You know, it's got some intelligence in it, figures out how to go from the beginning point, which is down here where the robot's sitting, up here to the finish point where the checkerboard is at. So, and like I said, it changes. I think there's 9 different mazes. So, disc mover. Once again, I think you end up using the magnet. Disc transport. Yeah, you move them around, put them in the storage locations. Castle crasher. And dynamic castle crasher. So yeah, a lot of cool different games. So let's go back. I'm going to go back to my, not the disc maze, the wall maze. I'm going to shrink this a little bit. And like I said, this is the Python program that I wrote for this. Over here are commands. These are all the commands, drivetrain commands that you can insert in there. If you scroll down here, here's your if statements, your if else, wait, whiles, brakes. Here's all the sensing commands that you can use. They've got let's see, for example, if you want to look here at front eye brightness percentage, hit the little question mark on it, and it brings up information over on the right-hand side for you on that. So pretty nifty there. All right, let's take a look at this program. I'm going to fire this program up, and the way I do that is there's a couple ways to run the program. I can go up here. There's a little start button and a stop button. I like to go down on the playing field. So if we go down here in the playing field, I'm going to make my playing field a little bigger. The object of the game that I wrote has to go to the colored letters, A, B, C, D. Robot has to go over those before it finishes the maze there with the checkerboard. Well, I kind of cheated a little bit. I only went to A and B. I didn't go to C and D and went to the checkerboard here. So I'm going to fire this thing up and run it. So as it's running, you can change modes here. We can actually look at the robot here going through the maze. Or we can watch it from on top here. And like I said, once again, this is cloud-based. No software has to be loaded. Compatible with tablets. I'm going to say it's tablet or it's with a Chromebook. I think it does state that in their documentation here. Here I skipped over C and D. I'm going right to the checkerboard here at the end. And once my down sensor recognizes the color red, then it stops the robot. So there we go. So as you see right here, the down eye sees red there. Now they have another tool in here. And if you ever want to debug programs, one of the things I like to use is print stream. And it's available, or print or debug stream or whatever it is. You get a box, a text box, and you can print out messages as to what your program is doing, what sensor values are. And I think it's this icon right here. I click that one up. I'm going to move the playing field over. I'm going to clear out the messages here. And I'm going to hit the rewind button down here. Robot's back at beginning, and now I'm going to start it. Every time it stops, it checks out what color it stopped on. So there it found the blue. All right. And here it's not finding any color every time it stops. So I'm printing out a debug message every time I stop and turn. There we go. We found the blue. We turned around. Yep, we were still on the blue when it turned around. And so what we get is we get a nice debug stream messages out over here. But I tell you what, this is quite a tool. It's quite a tool for students. They can do this, program this at home. They can actually send the code into you. You can load it in, you can test it, or maybe you just have them do a video of their robot going on the screen like this and sends you the video in a file. So however you want to handle this. And there we go, checkerboard found, game over. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about here today. So it's a great programming tool. If you want to know more about putting the program together, I do have a 30-minute video. But I think this is your great tool that you can use with your students as you're doing your online classes, and allows them to still program computers. They don't have to have equipment at home. And if you look, I mean, you got to agree, it's a pretty sophisticated little robot that they got running around there. So I want to thank you again, and hopefully you will you'll experiment with this thing and have a good time with it. It's quite the tool.